sorry, but this is not the time or place for children.
The following program may be offensive to some viewers.
Please do not contact these people or harass them in any way.
G'day Internet, it's your boy, or possibly girl, Transbat, with more Transbat in space. Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, ding the bell, support me on...
Whoa, none of that. Shoo, go on. Sorry about that. Look, if you're new to this channel, this is not a good video to start with. It's part 3 of a longer episode, and some of it is really going to seem like a load of gibberish. As a matter of fact, only the first half of this video even counts as part 3. I discuss a few things left over from the previous video, such as basic differences between males and females that apparently we've all decided don't matter anymore.
Jesus, looks like something out of Alien.
But after that, I start summing up all the topics I've covered in the whole TransCat in Space series up to now. If you're annoyed that I've missed something,
you left a piece out.
Please keep in mind that all the episodes so far represent what went through my mind that night in 2019, when I collided with all this drama for the first time. There's plenty of other angles to take, and your personal politics might not see eye to eye with mine. But remember, this is how I got shot through the trans-dimensional wormhole, and as a true blue left-winger who prided himself on listening to women, it was gender-critical women's opinions on all this that smacked me in the face first. But even if you reckon GCs are goobers and radfems are ridiculous, grit your teeth and hang in there, because there's something strange at work here that should concern everyone. And by the end of this video, if you haven't already figured it out, you should be able to guess what it is.
There's this rumor going around.
What?
Maybe we'd better talk about this later.
There's nothing to talk about. You're delusional.
Oh, well, in that case, I can just talk to myself about it.
Look, when a vastly superior alien culture comes all this way to take over your world, certain basic laws of planetary conquest apply. For example...
Man is stronger by far than woman. Yet only woman can create a child. Does that seem right to you?
That's a joke, right?
Hey, what do you mean, joke?
Joke. Noun. A thing said or done to cause laughter. Something not in earnest or ridiculous.
So, you're not aliens.
But some of this stuff people calling themselves trans women have been saying, they don't sound like they're joking. They sound like the joke with the spiky thing on the end.
We have found the witch, may we blood?
Oh, that crowd wants my blood.
Now wait a second!
That's not entirely accurate.
Not all of these threatening anti-TERF messages come from trans activists.
Are there any women here today?
In fact, some of the harshest criticism of TERFs comes from other women.
Trans women? Oh, women!
Words of wisdom. Words of power. Words of wisdom. Words of power.
Why not let them have me? It's easy way out. Nobody will blame
you. However,
I can't deal with that now.
So let's stick to aggro from men and trans women for the moment.
Now, to be fair, there is this thing called Misandry, where a woman will say stuff like, men are trash, or kill all men.
I really want to take a bullet for you.
Oh, if only you could.
And some people get a bit riled up about it. But come on, if a woman says kill all men, do you really think she'll do it?
Why does she not simply tear the judge's head off?
Do you really think she'll convince other women to join her in gendercide? Because that's happened so many times throughout history. Oh, women just upping and chopping off every man's head they can find. But when a man says, kill all women, we get uneasy. For good reason. I'm a bit concerned that I have to spell this out because I thought it was common knowledge, like knowing the names of the planets. But most people who commit violent crimes aren't women. Come on, who beats up, shoots, and kills trans women? Well, most of the time, it's men. And who beats up, shoots, and kills men? Men. And who beats up, shoots, and kills women? Men. Sure, it doesn't always happen that way around, but most of the time it does. And I don't want to get into an argument here about whether it's just because men are physically stronger, or they're naturally more aggressive, or they're just taught to be like that. Bottom line is, it's a thing. Who's done most of the fighting in most wars throughout history? Who's started most of the fighting in most wars throughout history? So, just playing devil's advocate here, I can kind of see why genetic girls might get a little nervous when people who have apparently been men all their lives start saying stuff like this. And this. And this. And also this.
Get out. Make me.
Now don't get me wrong, I'm not saying all trans women say this stuff, or even most trans women. And a lot of it is probably just social media wackiness that doesn't have much to do with real life.
Oh no, it's the Evo Ninjas!
Ignore that. But what worries me is that a lot of people who aren't trans and normally cheer for women's rights think that it's totally fine to talk like this.
It wasn't a person, Dad. I think it's a woman.
Because when people who are biologically male talk about punching and shooting people who are biologically female,
Warning.
It's usually frowned upon. That's because we barrack for transgender rights too, and trans women are women. But how do we know they're women? Because they say so. Honestly, mate, how many times?
That makes perfect sense.
Are you familiar with the scientific precept known as Occam's razor?
It means that all things being equal, the simplest explanation tends to be the right one.
Exactly. Now, you tell me, what is more likely here?
Mars.
Venus? Which planet are trans women from?
We interrupt this video to bring you a surprise episode of TransCat Reacts. That's right, I've decided to cash in on the popular YouTube trend.
Of course they seem to like it. They're paid to seem to like it.
I'm going to break one of my rules again and show you a clip of a real trans woman that I watched in 2019, talking to some Americans who I guess are important or controversial or something.
We both know
nuclei. Yeah, go ahead.
chromosomes don't necessarily mean you're male or female.
Gender.
With gender,
Gender
of course.
identity. Go ahead. No, so
Especially, but even so, you have a thing like Klinefelter's syndrome. So you don't know what you're talking about. You're not educated on genetics.
Would you like to discuss the genetics? Or
well, no,
what
no.
are your genetics?
So I'd stay away from the genetics and back to the brain scans.
You cut that out now, or you'll go home in an ambulance.
Yeah, that seems mildly inappropriate for a political discussion.
Seems a bit odd to react that way when asked about your chromosomes. Why not just say, I'm XY? Most trans women are. Otherwise, they wouldn't be trans.
All right, show's over. I'm tired.
We're almost through this!
Oh, by the way, one big reason why men are physically stronger is because they went through male puberty. And some of those changes can't be undone, even after years on hormone therapy.
Skeletal structure normal.
What are you doing?
Must be the density of your bones.
These differences also come up a lot when debating trans women in female sports.
Girls aren't as fast as boys.
What?
Or strong. It's a scientific fact.
But male advantage in sport is way too big a topic to go into detail here.
Let me explain.
Don't change the subject.
I can't deal with that now.
And if I dare to discuss it without the proper specialist knowledge, I risk invoking the wrath of the fearsome Dr. Emma Hilton, Mistress of the Swarm.
No, there is too much.
Stay on target.
Besides which...
Warning.
This isn't going to be pleasant.
there is that other little crime that's usually committed by men.
You are so fresh and so clean.
You know, the one that starts with the letter R and ends with "you're an ape." Now you may want to put your seatbelt on for this next part. I won't show anything graphic, but you may want to skip it if you had to put up with pushy men. Let's try a totally unrealistic scenario using clips from a crappy straight-to-DVD movie. Suppose a man visits a friend's empty house and finds a random naked woman there, which I assume is basically Tuesday in France.
Terribly sorry. Excuse the intrusion. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Suppose this woman immediately propositions him.
Would you like to come inside?
Yep, definitely France.
Why don't you look at me? Aren't I attractive?
Also, suppose the guy ignores the mile-high red flags that this chick is crazy, on drugs, or up to something, which is how I reckon most guys would react in real life, but just work with me here.
I have to sleep. Am I awake? Who the hell cares?
That's enough. You can leave.
Excuse me?
Go. Shut the door on your way out.
Okay, now answer these two questions. Number 1, what's the right thing for the man to do in this situation? And number 2, how is the man actually going to react? If you were born male, how does that sudden no make you feel?
Not so fast.
Just so we're clear, no means no, and you can always stop in the middle of things for any reason, or no reason at all.
I said no. Oh, did you? Oh, I completely misunderstood. Please accept our apologies.
At least, that's how it should work.
But we don't live in that world.
Unfortunately, in the real world, males are known to get pissed off when they're told no. And women know it.
Fine, you know what, look, you don't want to believe me? Go ask the girls.
I think we should go for it.
No.
It's not polite to be a prick tease. Don't you know that?
Which means that sometimes they won't risk saying no, even though they don't want it, because they're afraid of the man getting angry. Remember that bit about males being bigger and stronger than females on average?
Take her away. I'll need to use her later.
And this isn't just true of situations involving sex. It's also true in a lot of other times and places. For instance, when a woman thinks she's in a part of the galaxy where only other females hang out, like the changing rooms at the swimming pool, or a domestic violence shelter, or a women's book club, or whatever, well, she feels like she can relax and take a breather. Until a male barges in for some reason.
Hey, could you pass me the towel, please?
Now, he might be a totally chill, safe, okay dude, but she doesn't know that for sure. Not until he leaves. Of course, some women aren't bothered or wary at all around males, but some are. Especially those who've run into creeps before. Like, if Earth were getting taken over by alien brain slugs controlling people's minds, you'd have to be careful around everyone, because you wouldn't know for sure who wants to stick a slug in your ear. You know, everything you just said is a great argument for letting trans women use female toilets and changing rooms and stuff, don't you? It is. Use your brain. If men can be dangerous and creepy, then it's not safe for trans women to use male spaces. Don't you care about their safety? Or their feelings? Just be kind. But what about female X-Wing women who don't feel safe when someone they see as a male or a man comes into their space? Well, who cares about a load of transphobic TERFs' feelings?
Once that cap goes on, out go other things.
Like puppets. Oh! You're full of information.
I guess there's no way to resolve this situation or come to any kind of compromise that could satisfy both parties. So, what if we made third spaces for trans women?
A thought occurs.
What if we made new spaces just for trans women? Like some kind of third bathroom zone, where they can be safe from dodgy men without bothering the Scissor Sisters.
The third dimension.
Don't be ridiculous. What? It's a great idea that I totally thought up myself and has never been proposed by women before at any time. Oh, if trans women have to use some kind of special third space, it means they're not considered real women. And that is transphobic. So it's not about safety then. I'm getting a bit sick of these rigged gotcha questions, mate.
Obviously it makes a big difference whether you pass or not. But that's a discussion for another day.
I can't deal with that now.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. What's the other big difference between males and females?
I hope you get pregnant, you cheap little top.
What? Him? How can he get pregnant?
Well, if they didn't use precautions.
How long is this going to take?
But it's women who get pregnant.
Since when?
Since always.
Well, on Earth it can last days.
I have killed men for less.
What do you think?
I think... You know what I think. If I said what I think, then... I think you'd tell me not to.
Is he doing it?
No.
Can I?
No.
Then what are you for?
Are you sure you want to
try this tonight? No, let's do it. It'll be good for us. Are you okay with it? Yeah.
I'm pregnant.
What?
Well, there you have it.
You're the one who has to go through this.
Would you like to know the sex?
Yes. No, like you're the one who has to get huge and shove a baby out of your vag for someone else.
You're thinking too negative. Think of all the glorious, beautiful, wondrous things about having children. Like when they grow up and leave home.
I think you should wear a bra.
You think I should wear a bra? And why should I wear a bra?
It's very distracting. Not as distracting as watching him out of the shower.
I started to lock the door after that.
Geez, it's always male versus female with you, isn't it? Don't you realise that stuff's old-fashioned and behind the times? Those rigid and oppressive concepts restrict us and hold us back. These TERFs you seem to admire so much want to keep us trapped in these biological boxes when we should be trying to break down the barricades. What really matters isn't male versus female, it's cis versus trans. And all the cool kids know which one of those is the evil empire and which one is the rebel alliance. Well, that's certainly a point of view you got there. Besides, some men can get pregnant.
It's impossible. I haven't got the equipment, have I?
It appears that in their universe, it's the men who give birth to the babies.
You mean some trans men can get pregnant? And trans men are men. Just like trans women are women.
Come on, I'm not buying this. This is a wind-up.
Don't get emotional, not on your condition.
See how we get stuck in this endless loop? We just shout at each other across the trenches. Women, men, wabbit season, duck season.
We've been fighting about everything.
Thinking in circles. There's no way out.
So, what you're saying is, for you, it all comes down to whether trans women are A, really women trapped in men's bodies, or B, just men acting peculiar? Yeah, that about sums it up.
How very neutral of you.
What?
And your opinion of this great big war for girl space will depend on which of these you reckon is true? Yeah, because until I figure that out, I don't know which spaceship is which.
We're all here, but we're not in the same time or place in space.
Trans women are men. Trans women are women.
Sorry, I'm having trouble hearing you. Getting a lot of bullshit on this line.
That's why I want to find out why people are trans. It's not just to figure out whether I'm transgender. It's not some academic debate, it's to break this stalemate. If we're going to change the law to make life safer and fairer for transgender people, sure, but shouldn't we base it on some kind of factual solid ground instead of how people say they feel on the inside?
Damn it! Damn!
Shouldn't there be some way to tell who's really trans and who's just sneaking in because he's creep? And when people say transgenderism is all a fad, wouldn't it help to go, "You are gravely mistaken, sir. Have some science. This is why I turned out trans."
I don't know why it won't work. It should work.
Am I dreaming?
We all are.
I'm missing something.
Something much more important.
Do you have a better hypothesis?
You got any ideas? Ah, well, we're all saved.
If only men could be more like rats.
Wait, what?
Hang on, mate, hang on. I'm getting a bit concerned at the possible effect on our audience. What, all 6 of them? Well, not all 6, but look, in the last video you claimed that some AMAB people, you mean male people, if you insist, some male people might choose to become trans, allegedly, because being a white, straight, cis guy in this day and age means you're responsible for everything wrong with the world.
I don't want to be a man anymore.
What are you saying? That this is a wish?
Now, for the record, I don't agree with you that such a thing could possibly happen. And there's definitely no such thing as transmaxing, so there's no point Googling it, okay? But, hypothetically, if it could happen, aren't you making the problem worse? How so? The whole of this video up to now is how so. You just spent all that time sledging men and saying they're evil, violent, rapey monsters. No I didn't. Did so, did not. I wasn't saying all men are like that, or even most men. I was just saying that women aren't telepathic, and can't be sure which blokes are decent and which are dangerous, so they've got to be careful. That's all well and good, mate, But it's still got to be pretty tough on the average teenage guy getting told men are trash on social media all day, every day. Well, yeah, it probably is. Wait, what? Are you concurring with my point?
You dare agree with me!
Oh, first I'm your straw bat, then I'm your mouthpiece. Make up your mind, mate. You're going to confuse at least 5 of them. But it is a good point. In fact, some male detransitioners have been blaming feminism for making them feel so bad about being male that they tried to go girl. What, the same feminism that says males who try to go girl are bad?
I think of irony.
I'll leave that up to the comments section to argue about.
All right! Not you, you man!
Just to be clear, when I say male detransitioners, I'm talking about males who decide they're trans women or non-binary or whatever, and then later decide they made a mistake.
Seize that guy and throw him out the airlock.
It's cold outside, there's no kind of atmosphere I'm gonna
You guys are bugging out on me?
What a shame. Moving on now.
Stop that. You're not going into a song while I'm here.
No, listen, lad.
It is undeniably true that when someone leaves the transwarp space armada in an escape pod, some women, particularly radfems, can be all like, "Welcome back, we love you," to female detransitioners, but pretty chilly towards males.
Shut your miserable, lying, cheating mouth. Continue.
How about we show him a little compassion?
Compassion? What is compassion?
But to be fair, if I were a woman who routinely got literal death threats and dick pics for saying turfy things, I might not have a lot of patience for guys complaining about mean girls.
Just deal with it because we need you and I'm sick of your bullshit.
Some gender criticals and radfems are forcing themselves not to feel sorry for male detransitioners and trans women.
This is a war and the only paths left are life or death.
That's because women tend to be caring, but you can't afford to be caring in a war. Your enemies can use it against you.
Compassion? What is compassion?
Compassion? It's a feeling that you have when you see someone else's pain, and instead of taking advantage of their weakness, you help them.
Oh, I know this feeling. Just be kind. I hate it.
You are a sentimental fool.
Oh, see, you're doing it again. We all know by now which side your bread is buttered, you suck-up excuse for a cat o' nine tails.
I will look after you. I want to look after you.
That would be really nice.
Oh, please.
Don't touch me.
Admit it. You reckon that guys have it easier than girls. Yes. Yes, I do. I rest my case. But that doesn't mean that guys have it easy. Oh, real profound, mate. I bet you're up all night dreaming up that smart-ass comeback.
You know what? I'm on the wrong team here. I'm just gonna stay.
Fine, do what you want.
We're getting off the subject.
Although, you know.
Authoticers.
Yo radfems, I hear some of you like conditioning and trauma as an explanation for stuff.
Did you go with negative or positive reinforcement?
Does this include radfemery? I wonder.
As he or she recalls the attacker's face, his scraggly goatee and cheap dangly earring, she learns to hate and fear all men.
Really?
Don't interrupt, hateful scum.
That's all right. That's a joke. Hey, what do you mean, joke?
Do you know what makes you so much worse? It's the fact that you think you're so much better than him.
What are you talking about? Look, this isn't getting us anywhere.
Let's stay focused.
Hey, whose ship is that?
Okay, time to stop dead in space, take stock, gaze at my slideshow backdrop, and think back on all the questions these videos have asked since episode 1. Are people trans because gender is a social construct? But how come some little kids stubbornly resist being socialized? Are people trans because of male and female brains in the wrong body? But how come some of us don't figure out we're trans till puberty or middle age? How can socialization be so weak it fails on little kids, yet so powerful it brainwashes the rest of us for decades?
Is everything okay?
A page has been torn out.
This case is empty.
Why won't anybody tell me what's going on?
There's so many secrets that I'm in the dark about.
What secrets?
Don't play games.
While we're at it, what the heck is gender identity? How are you meant to measure it in a lab, the way you can check if someone's gay or left-handed? Is gender identity fixed from an early age? Or is it fluid and mutable throughout your life? If it's the former, why do detransitioners exist? And why do a lot of kids desist at puberty? If it's the latter, why would we risk giving people hormones and surgery in the first place? And why is it that the way people talk about gender identity sounds kind of like the way people talk about souls?
Stop with this stupid monologue already. Nobody knows the answer, and you're certainly not smart enough to figure it out on your own.
What? Here's a hint.
Eggs.
So who's laying these eggs?
I'm not sure.
Oh, you got it all wrong. It's not like that.
You'd better run, egg! Why do people keep saying sex is a spectrum or a social construct and not binary, when it is? And pointing out that intersex people exist, when they're pretty rare, when none of that has the least thing to do with explaining why trans people exist. Almost all trans people start out with standard model bodies, chromosomes, gametes, and gonads. If they didn't, they wouldn't be doing much transitioning in the first place. It's like saying that a boat with wings stuck on it is a plane just because seaplanes exist.
I don't get it!
Here's a hint.
Could this be a Dyson sphere?
What does that mean?
A Dyson sphere.
I need more information.
Give me a second to access.
In the 20th century, a physicist called Freeman Dyson postulated the theory that an enormous hollow sphere could be constructed around a star.
Concealed from view.
Hiding in the dark space, watching and shaping the earth.
The all-seeing eye.
Why did the stereotype of a trans woman used to be that she was attracted to men, yet there are lots of trans lesbians around these days? And if trans women have female brains in the wrong body, how come only 1 to 2% of females are lesbian, while 1/3 to 2/3 of all trans women like women?
That depends on how you answer this.
So who's laying these eggs?
Wait, this can't be right.
It must be something we haven't seen yet.
You know of what I speak.
Yes, the Queen.
It's coming from the moon.
What gender is the Queen?
I am a woman.
This is the handiwork of the puppet master.
Why do trans activists claim that heaps of people are trans, way more than we used to think, but also that trans people are constantly getting murdered by transphobes? If you do the sums, you find out that one or the other of those things could be true, but not both at once.
Something funny's going on.
I'll tell you one thing.
The facts are being manipulated. You are lying to the people.
What's the matter with you?
I just never expected to hear you say something so serious.
Why has there been a sudden steep rise in kids and teens identifying as trans in the last 10 to 15 years? And how come it's mostly females identifying as boys, when for most of the 20th century, it was mostly males identifying as girls?
Ooh, I love it. Say it again.
You are lying to the people.
That is
Not
a joke.
And why is asking these questions often considered transphobic?
You may not ask questions.
Understood.
Why is trans activism acting so weird and pushy lately? Changing language, opening up women's sport, hassling lesbians, all kinds of other things, and insisting that none of this Space Invader stuff is a big deal. Why do they keep trying to bring in gender self-ID, even though anyone with 2 brain cells can see it's got problems? Why is so much of the media, academia, and even government 100% behind this instead of considering all sides of the issue? Why has everyone suddenly decided that gender identity, which is so mysterious and vague you can hardly even define it, overrules everything we know is real?
When you find that out, then you'll know everything, won't you?
Who do you represent?
As Schrodinger might say, the answer is in the box.
And am I trans? Or aren't I? What do my own weird green-tinted feelings from episode 2 mean? Am I a lady cat on the inside? Or am I just imagining it?
Interesting that you now choose a female host. Most attractive one at that.
You waste my time.
Careful, mate. Curiosity is the natural enemy of cats. Oh, my nocturnal nemesis. You have no idea.
Observe. You misunderstand. I'm not asking that you serve me. I must admit that I'm merely an emissary.
I'm merely a humble slave.
Whom do you speak?
Mercy has no place in this world. There's only a place for me.
If you don't mind, I'm gonna have to refer this upwards.
What is that?
Your boss. This has always been your boss. since the day you were born.
Hurry up.
I gotta lay off the cartoons.
You admit that you have absolutely no physical evidence to back up your story.
Yes.
You admit that you very well may have hallucinated this whole thing.
Yes.
You admit that if you were in our position, you would respond with exactly the same degree of incredulity and skepticism.
Yes.
Then why don't you simply withdraw your testimony and concede that this journey to the center of the galaxy, in fact, never took place?
Oh, I was musing on all this. I was thinking about it. It was worrying me. And then, I found something out.
You found something?
Yes, ma'am.
That's it.
Guys, get a load of this!
What is it?
No, that can't be. Then why don't you simply withdraw your testimony?
Because I can't.
I need you to trust me.
There is still another hand to be played.
Other than me?
Stay with me, ladies and gentlemen, assorted sweets, because this is the most important thing in this stupidly long series of stupidly long videos.
And that's how I discovered the secret. The answer was there all the time.
You know what I speak.
That elusive ingredient.
A great eye.
Tears. Sound.
The secret. I found that knowledge.
That's no mood. She's very old. She's been with us since the beginning.
What is it?
The question that must never be answered. It's in plain sight.
Of course.
Not asking.
Don't be shy.
I know this music.
Wanna take a ride? Let's challenge the beat.
Here we have what we like to call a star.
Wow, slow down, Ed.
But not just any star, because this is your sex drive.
Look at that. Binary system. That's a pair of stars orbiting around each other.
You know what I like to do sometimes when it's really ridiculous?
Give something wonderful, something that changed me forever.
A feeling of joy and contentment so powerful you'll wonder how you ever lived without it.
Keep your fantasies to yourself.
Do you think I enjoy dressing like this?
Quite possibly.
It can't be bargained with. It can't be reasoned with. It doesn't feel pity or remorse.
Saturate
And it absolutely will not stop. Ever. Until you are dead.
I feel bad girl.
Who can tell me which part of the human body can enlarge 100 times?
I have the answer. The answer that has forever eluded man.
This holds the dark answer.
No! It's not possible!
I've discovered something wondrous which may secure the fate of our people for all eternity.
A vision that tells us that we belong to something greater than ourselves, that none of us are alone. The truth is that you're just scared.
I'm going to show these people what you don't want them to see.
A new plane of existence.
Third dimension.
Would you only say I'm mad?
Sir, I don't think that's wise.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back.
All of the mysteries and secrets will be revealed.
I have summoned you here for a purpose.
I have such wonderful, wonderful things to show you.
This isn't going to be pleasant.
You help us?
Of course.
Roger, Control. I'm ready.
Goodbye.
This is not the time and place for children. I must ask you to leave.
I mean it this time. I do too.
Moon starburst, -16.
You struggle to resist this nature of ours, but it can't last forever.
She's a vicious, life-sucking bitch from which there's no escape.
You could fire every day you got her, and she'd just smile at you and keep on coming.
Vampire? It could be described that way, yes.
I am the feminine in your mind.
I got it!
Keep it down. You want to wake up the whole planet? I do.
Rock crushes scissors, but paper covers rock.
I've got an idea for a story. It's about the science of sex.